This is the afternoon weather update. This is for Thursday, the 13th of July. I'm James Spann. Parts of West Alabama getting hammered by heavy rain and flooding, especially over Sumter County. That's kind of the bullseye for the flooding today. For the rest of the state, some locations with no rain at all. But a lot to talk about today. Let's look at the upper air look. And again, we've got the heat ridge centered west of the state. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, back into Southern California. We'll keep an eye on that. That might expand in here a little bit next week. But again, there's a little disturbance in the flow, an MCV, a mesoscale convective vortex, and that spin is noticeable on radar images. That's the visible satellite view, and you can see kind of the clouds swirling through West Alabama. Here's a look at the actual radar, and this is, again, live at 2:36 this afternoon. And notice the swirl near Utah. That is the MCV, mesoscale convective system, vortex, I should say, and that really was responsible for that excessive rain that came down in Sumter County earlier today. In fact, let me put on the storm totals here, and let's take a look at this. Again, you can see areas northwest of York. That seems to be the bullseye. And you can see we're showing 8.04 inches. And this is based on radar. The rain might be a little lighter, heavier than this, but that gives you an idea of what came down in parts of Sumter County this morning. And it's been a pretty rough morning for our friends there. In fact, I'll show you some quick video here. This was taken from a home in York this morning. Imagine walking out on your front porch, and that's your front yard. And again, that's what happens when you get 8 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. This all came down mostly between about 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. in a 6-hour time frame this morning. And again, it's been certainly a rough morning there with flash flood warnings, obviously, in effect for Sumter County. But again, let's go back to the radar, and we'll put the reflectivity back on. And you can see that, thankfully, the rain has ended at this point for York and Livingston. Now, they are currently dry. And again, you can see that we've got lighter rain that's falling from near Moundville in Hale County down to about Wedgeworth, Demopolis, down toward Pennington, Butler, and Choctaw County. But again, the rain rates there have really decreased, which is certainly a good thing. Got some other heavier thunderstorms in parts of South Alabama. In fact, let's take a look at the Maxwell Air Force Base radar. And again, you can see just soaking rains falling down Highway 331 and 231 south of Montgomery. Some of the heaviest rain coming through parts of Pike County approaching Troy. Heavy rain approaching Enterprise, coming through there in Coffee County over toward Ozark and Dale County, and that'll keep on pushing through southeast Alabama. Check the Gulf Coast situation. They've had some pretty healthy thunderstorms on the Gulf Coast today. Again, you can see thunderstorms in progress along the Gulf Coast, especially over the Florida Panhandle. But at least they're moving along, so it's not raining all day. The Alabama Gulf Coast at the moment, again, at 2:38 with no rain. And for the northern half of the state, things are relatively quiet at mid-afternoon. Got a few spotty showers over northeast Alabama, but those are really not that impressive and not producing that much rain at this point. This is the composite, kind of the big picture across the deep south. Temperatures all over the board. Where we've got clouds and rain, we have 70s. Tuscaloosa, Utah, Demopolis, mid-70s. That's not bad for a July day, and mostly 80s elsewhere. No 90s for the northern half of the state, and really no 90s anywhere in the state. The warm spots are Huntsville and Montgomery with 88. But don't worry, we all know the heat is coming. We have a flood watch in effect for parts of West Alabama. The county's in green because of that MCV. That would include Tuscaloosa, Brent, Clanton, Selma, Marion, Greensboro, Utah, obviously York and Livingston. And, of course, Sumter County still under a flood warning. Marengo County involved in that as well. The warnings and the watches extend back into eastern Mississippi for a flooding. And then west of Alabama, heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in effect for much of the south-central United States. And then back into the western states as well with that upper ridge. Here's the severe weather outlook for the rest of today and tonight. We've got risks centered over the Great Plains states and also the Northeast, an enhanced risk over parts of New York State. Again, SPC is holding on to this marginal risk over the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama in case a few strong storms dip in here from the north later tonight. Tomorrow, chances for severe storms northwest and northeast of Alabama. And on day 3, which is Saturday, we have a marginal risk north of the state from Tennessee up into the eastern Great Lakes. Here's the rain for the next 7 days, and obviously these maps are just impossible to draw. Like today, 8 inches in parts of Sumter County. That's obviously not reflected here, but it's going to be hit and miss. The average amounts for the next 7 days, about 1 inch for the north, 2 to 3 inches for the south. And again, off the tropics, we have that junk system out in the middle of nowhere, middle of the Atlantic. And again, the Hurricane Center giving this a 60% chance of being designated a subtropical depression or storm. And again, this is the kind of thing that would never get a name years ago. If anything happens to form there, it's going to drift northward into colder water. No impact to land, no issues. Again, it's a junk system. No tropical systems near the Gulf of Mexico or the United States, at least for the next 7 days. So model fans, here we go, the GFS. This is the 12Z run, valid tomorrow at 4. Heat ridge over the southwest United States, a vortex over central Canada. And again, for us, we're going to be in just this ocean of humidity, very soupy air. And we'll see a number of showers and storms around, not raining everywhere, but many places we'll see at least a passing shower or storm. And the high tomorrow will be close to 90 in most spots if the sun peeks out. And that'll be the idea for the weekend. This is Saturday and this is Sunday. For the weekend, a mix of sun and clouds, showers and storms around, mostly between noon and midnight, both days. And the chance of any one spot getting wet over the weekend will be around 60% for most locations. Highs, again, very close to 90. And, of course, the question is next week, can that heat ridge build in here from the west? And if that's the case, rain chances go down, heat levels go up. That's Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday, there's evidence we could see a little disturbance on the eastern periphery of the heat ridge with a better chance of storms. But again, models are not going to handle this kind of thing very well days in advance. Let's go a week from today. This is Thursday the 20th. And again, the core of the heat is over New Mexico, 6,000 meters. That's just nasty. But the ridge extends all the way from California into the deep south, troughing to the north. And again, that looks pretty much hot and dry. But let's go out 10 days and look at the difference here. All of a sudden, we have a trough over the eastern states. The heat ridge is out west, a high amplitude pattern. And if this verifies, the hottest weather in the country will be out in the western states. The eastern states could be below average. And again, there's even some suggestions some dry air could work in here with lower dew points and lower humidity. But hey, we'll believe that when we see it. That rarely ever happens here this time of the year. Rain for Birmingham coming off the GFS ensemble. The green line is the mean of the ensemble members, and it's showing between 2 and 2.5 inches between now and the 27th, 28th of July. Temperatures coming off the NBM, and again, you might want to shave off about 2 or 3 degrees off these numbers. It's been showing values a little too hot this summer. Still, you get the idea. Most days, low to mid-90s, lows in the 70s. And we might see a few spots making a run for the upper 90s at some point next week. It all depends on the position of that heat ridge and how far it can extend in here. And as of this live update, we don't have a new 8 to 14-day outlook yet from CPC. This is the one issued yesterday for the 20th through the 26th. And again, temperatures would be above average if this happens to verify. Hey, turn around, don't drown. Don't do this. Come on now. This is Louisville, Mississippi this morning, and you don't know if the road is there. Water, even that type of water can push a car right off the road. And we see so much of this, and you've heard us say it over and over, but it's true. Turn around, don't drown. Your life isn't worth it. We just see too much of that. And I mean, apparently that person made it through there, but again, so many times we've seen roadbeds totally washed away. Cars go in, swept away, and people lose their life. So we just can't do that. And again, this was some of the video taken from Sumter County earlier today at York, where again they've had amounts in York, right where this video is taken, probably 5 to 6 inches of rain. And again, much of that falling in about a 4-hour time frame this morning. And Sumter County remains under a flash flood warning. So again, let's go back to the radar. And again, we're live here at 2:45. And you can see that little swirl between Tuscaloosa and Demopolis near Utah. That is the MCV, mesoscale convective vortex that kind of has been driving that heavy rain in West Alabama. The MCV is kind of sagging to the south. And thankfully, the rain rates have really decreased, and the rain has basically stopped in Sumter County. And they probably thought it was never going to end. And again, we've also got some lighter showers over the northeastern part of the state. Those are kind of fading away. The Birmingham metro is quiet. And again, we'll take a look at the South Alabama situation. You can see bands of showers and thunderstorms south and southeast of Montgomery. And those are producing heavy amounts of rain. Obviously, in an air mass like this, the thunderstorms are very efficient rain producers, very high precipitable water values today. And that'll be the case over the next couple of days. But again, we have no severe weather warnings in the state. We don't expect really any severe storms today or tonight, just the flooding concern there over the western side of Alabama. So that is it for the afternoon briefing today. We have notes on the blog, by the way, alabamawx.com. If you're new here, we do these live twice a day during the week, about 5:15 a.m. and around 2:45 p.m. Weekends as needed. And scheduling tomorrow, I will be in Jasper. By the way, had a great time today at Kirkwood on the River. Big crowd there, great time. But again, I'll be at the Jasper Public Library tomorrow morning at 10 for their summer reading program. And tonight I'll be at Cedar Grove Baptist Church in Leeds for VBS Stellar. And then Saturday, it's a book signing in Odenville. Actually, it's in Branchville, which is a suburb of Odenville, but on US 411 at Clarissa's Cakery. You will not regret showing up for this one. We'll have all the books and the weather shirts and the fun stuff. We take a lot of pictures. It's a lot of fun, and there's some really good treats there, too. So that's 9 to noon. Saturday morning, Clarissa's Cakery, St. Clair County, in Branchville, Odenville. So come see us. We hope to see a lot of folks there. And, of course, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, right across the hall, Studio A. ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.